physicists discover paradox-free time travel is theoretically possible. No one has yet managed to travel through time, at least to our knowledge, but the question of whether or not such a feat would theoretically be possible continues to fascinate scientists, as movies such as The Terminator, Donnie Darko, Back to the Future, and many others show. Moving around in time creates a lot of problems for the fundamental rules of the universe. If you go back in time and stop your parents from meeting, for instance, how can you possibly exist in order to go back in time in the first place? It's a monumental head-scratcher known as the grandfather paradox, but a few years ago, physicist student Germaine Tobar from the University of Queensland in Australia worked out how to square the numbers to make time travel viable without the paradoxes. Classical dynamics say that if you know the state of a system at a particular time, this can tell us the entire history of the system, Tobar explained back in 2020. However, Einstein's theory of general relativity predicts the existence of time loops or time travel, where an event can be both in the past and future of itself, theoretically turning the study of dynamics on its head. What the calculations show is that space-time can potentially adapt itself to avoid paradoxes. To use a topical explanation, imagine a time traveler journeying into the past to stop a disease from spreading. If the mission was successful, the time travel would have no disease to go back in the time to defeat. Tobar's work suggested that the disease would still escape some other way, through a different route or by a different method, removing the paradox. Whatever the time traveler did, the disease would not be stopped, in other words. Tobar's work is not easy for non-mathematicians to dig into, but it looks at the influence of the deterministic processes without any randomness on an arbitrary number of regions in the space-time continuum, and demonstrates how both closed time-like curves, as predicted by Einstein, can fit in with the rules of free will and classical physics. The maths check out and the results are the stuff of science fiction, said physicist Fabio Costa at the University of Queensland, who supervised the research. The research smoothed out the problem with another hypothesis, that time travel is possible, but that time travelers would be restricted in what they did, to stop them creating a paradox. In this model, time travelers have the freedom to do whatever they want, but paradoxes are not possible. While the numbers might work, actually bending space and time to get into the past remains elusive. The time machines that scientists have devised so far are so high concept that they currently only exist as calculations on a page for now. And we might get there one day. Stephen Hawking certainly thought it was possible. And if we do, then this new research suggests that we would be free to do whatever we wanted to the world in the past, and it would readjust itself accordingly. Costa said, try as you might to create a paradox, the events will always adjust themselves to avoid any inconsistency. The range of mathematical processes we discovered show that time travel with free will is logically possible in our universe without any paradox. The research was published in Classical and Quantum Gravity. The article was published in September 2020. This is a reprint, and this is on Science Alert. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.